everybody changes. Everybody becomes better people. You know, we all should get that chance. I just want my chance.
Nothing means nothing. Nothing means nothing. What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho Madness, yes, got more to offer.
Yo, what up? Welcome to Legends Vanity Project, aka my midlife crisis. I've gone through a few crises in my lifetime. Some mental, some financial, some mental crisis caused by the 2008 financial crisis. I've been treating my mental health problems for a while now. I have come a long way. I struggled with anxiety and depression my entire life, and I had some battles with various substances.
Now, I'll take a drink, every now and then I'll have a drink. And I will smoke a little weed. I'll do some toot now. I'll do a little toot.
To this day, I still smoke way too much of the devil's lettuce. But I also believe that smoking weed has kept me out of trouble. Other than the trouble of getting caught with that fabulous plant. I lost track of all the times I've been arrested. Here's a list of all the jails I've been in. I was locked up for either a tiny amount of drugs or just being poor. Poor folks with mental problems don't have to be thrown away. Our government should do more to help these people, but they don't. And most folks are too preoccupied with their own problems to care about the next person, which is the most American thing ever. Some mentally ill white boys will become mass shooters when given a rifle and very little life prospects, which is also the most American thing ever. This system was set up for the poor, mentally ill folks to just go away somehow, out of sight, out of mind type shit. Or become nothing more than a low-wage servant with no chance of ever rubbing shoulders with his wealthy white skinned the mountains of Brackenridge. If society doesn't see itself benefiting from you in some kind of way, right away, you will be marked as disposable, especially the darker your skin tone is. But to be honest, capitalism doesn't discriminate that much. The poor whites can also be disposed of. I've seen it. I've been in those rural jails. I've seen how they treat those white boys. I've seen a big dude being strapped to a chair and treated like a rabid animal.
Tester's lawyers say his actions should have alerted police that Testa might have a mental illness. He was placed in a restraint chair like this one. Testa was taken to the hospital in life-threatening condition where he was later taken off life support and died.
The reality is that only the wealthy whites are allowed to fail upward despite being an autistic drug addict with a weird dick. Allegedly. A great man once said, "Don't hate the player, hate the game." But I truly hate this cringy bastard.
The left wanted to make comedy illegal, Like you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny, you can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah.
I had plenty of interactions with our legal system. None of them good. It all started in middle school. I was sent to an alternative school that treated us like inmates. It was ran so poorly that it closed after 1 year. I got sent there for being a gang member, which I was, but I just wanted to be able to visit the ladies without catching a beatdown. Now they had me in a class with some real menaces to the community, with whom I became friends with, and I became a real juvenile delinquent.
Thug life.
Property crime was very high back then. Coincidentally, the crime rate went down as I moved on into other ventures. Totally unrelated, I'm sure. I became a low-level drug dealer. That shit kind of ran in the family. Shout out to my mom. She taught me a lot about drugs. Mostly how to sell them. I had always been good at math until algebra came around, and that shit made me tap out. My life would have been much easier if my mental issues would have been diagnosed when I was a child. I have ADHD, anxiety, depression, and I'm pretty sure I'm autistic. I haven't figured out the last one yet, but I started a YouTube channel, so the signs are there. My life has always been hard, but nothing has been worse than having the state of Texas breathing down my nuts. Where I'm from, you're not really getting a second chance. I was arrested for possession of marijuana. I was sent to jail for about a week till one of my homeboys bailed me out. I was put on probation and forced to get a job, which I couldn't get. I was forced to stop smoking weed, which I couldn't stop. So the pigs put out a warrant for me, and I went on the run. I was eventually pulled over and taken to jail. I had to post a $16,000 bail. I had to start over, now with even worse legal issues than before. I had always struggled with depression and anxiety, but the pressures of adulthood and all these never-ending legal problems were taking a toll on my mental health. But I still had people that believed in me, and a beautiful girlfriend, and the dreams of making it as a rapper.
Man, you know, hating on the shit that I'm making. They're mad cause I'm everything that they're faking. I could fry them like bacon, take off, really no signs for the tracing. My rhymes are more than the mason, they're true, so watch who you're facing. And if you're trying to bring me down, it's best to not come around unless you got a vest that could have run around to another town and hope you never found.
But what if I was ugly? What if I couldn't rap? I doubt I'd still be here today. If I wouldn't have met the love of my life before my life came crashing down, I doubt I would have had the motivation to follow a better path. She drove me to job interviews and sometimes took me to work at ridiculous times. We were really trying to keep me out of jail.
My life, my life, my life, my life, that one time.
So I went back to jail. I caught a felony for some of the devil's dandruff. And at the same time, I was about to have my first child. And the state of Texas had me by the balls. Again.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I still have nightmares about showing up to probation and not being prepared for a drug test.
I'm off probation. 3 long motherfucking years. I'm finally off probation. Shouts out to my Wizinator. Shouts out to my Wizinator.
I did many things I'm not proud of, but the crimes I committed were mostly due to circumstance. If I stole your car, I'm sorry. If it makes y'all feel better, my car also got stolen. I'm waiting for a call from the DPD about it. It's been 12 years. I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure there's some hardworking piggies out there. No disrespect to the good piggies. Hashtag, not all piggies. I have cousins that had similar legal troubles as me. But they were deported because it's Texas, and it doesn't matter that we live in liberal-ass Dallas. The liberals are not much different than the conservatives. Both ideologies will do some fascism. One does it because that is what they are, not so deep down. And the other party will do it so they won't be criticized for not being fascist enough.
The do-nothing Democrats, and they are do-nothing.
I lost some good friends over the past few years. Their deaths were totally preventable. I almost feel responsible for not doing more. But I had no idea the things they were going through. I was also going through my own struggles and too busy to notice. I feel like I could have prevented it if I was a better friend. Rest in peace to my homie. I miss ya. The reality is that our government should have done more. And they still can for those that struggle with mental health and addiction problems. Not just throw them in jail for also being poor. After all, most drugs were transported or manufactured by the U.S. government. Addiction is a mental health issue. Medical help is needed. And our government should provide this help in the form of free health care if it actually cared about its citizens.
I think the solution clearly must be a movement toward a single-payer, universal, comprehensive health care, similar to what exists in Canada.
In England, the entire cost of medicine for people of all ages, all of it, doctors, the choice of doctors, hospitals, from the time you're born to the time you die, are included in a government program.
The reason most folks give up on life is because they hit rock bottom, maybe more than once. And in a society that values wealth over everything, it is easy for a poor drug addict to just give up on life. Because even if they do beat their addictions, they still have their mental problems, their demons, broken dreams, and the failed expectations of becoming a successful capitalist.
Can't you see this anxiety is killing me?
I always felt like I was on the verge of death, either by some health issue that my mind conjured up, or some old enemy was going to take me out. I used to live every day like it's my last. But I bet that's how a bunch of these folks that have been forgotten by society feel, especially houseless folks.
Bling bling yet, but I can write and sing us all a song. Cause this is all I love, all I love, all I love, all I love. This is all I love.
These folks live for the moment. They don't worry about a mortgage and a car payment They just want to make it to another day. They might not have much, but I bet they feel freer than I'll ever feel. Sure, I have a bunch of shit, but to have all the things I have, I must serve these greedy capitalists and hope that they treat me fair and pay me well. I feel trapped in a 50-year contract that I hope I outlive. The toll of working some of the shittiest jobs and countless 12-hour days has not been great for my health. I just don't feel like I'm gonna make it. I've seen too many of my elders go before the age of 60, but it might just be in my head. Even for people that ain't tortured by their own thoughts, like folks that just haven't caught a break or come from wealthy parents, buying a home can be almost impossible. As real estate speculators, house flippers, and greedy landlords have destroyed the dream of homeownership. Most renters are closer to being homeless than being able to buy a home. Like, how is a cashier at Walmart going to buy a home when they can barely make rent? Rent prices are wild. Last time I rented, I paid $600 for a 2-bedroom in East Dallas. That was 2012. Now, those same apartments are $1,400 a month, and they're just as shitty as ever. Many folks that live there still make less than the $11.50 an hour I made back then. The rent is too damn high. Poor people have been forgotten, neglected, or even worse. Some of these capitalists would rather see them dead than see them at all. Some of these assholes want to go out there and kill them themselves.
But they wouldn't arrest you if you shot somebody. Maybe you should just go and shoot the homeless people. I like your ideas. Yeah.
Our capitalist system is soul sucking, and some folks would rather be homeless than lose their soul working 12 hours a day. Folks shouldn't have to work 2 or 3 jobs just for basic ass living conditions. The US can do better. We are the wealthiest country in the world. For now.
天上太阳红呀红彤彤哎，心中的太阳是毛泽东哎，他领导我们的解。
We need to have more compassion for people that, for whatever reason, don't contribute to the capitalist system we were all indoctrinated into serving. Housing should be a human right, along with healthcare, and all this could be done if we spent just $250 billion we spend bombing brown people. Or we could take all Elon's, Jeff's, and Mark's wealth
via a wealth tax until they are no longer billionaires.
You know what I'm saying? Free Luigi. We have more empty homes than homeless people. And y'all motherfuckers act like y'all don't know what the solution is. Well, that's it for today. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that. Or you could catch me medicated as fuck in the streets of Dallas.